I have to see this. I don't know if this next one is going to be a video, if it's lyrics, if it's a visualizer. It says official music video. I have no idea. This video has been requested so hard by SB19 fans, 18, that like the bar is high. Okay, like I'm a little nervous on this one. I could get shunned if I did not praise correctly. Now 18 has been very good. I'm just being stupid, but this has been requested extremely, extremely hard. Okay, this is Pablo from SB19, the leader, the boy who cried wolf. Okay, buckle up. Let's see what we get. That wasn't part of it.
Everybody telling the dwarf is spent. Ain't nobody telling what no wolf is said.
Before I continue, is anybody not familiar with the story, the parable, if you will, the boy who cried wolf? Because I feel like if you're not familiar with that, you should be, because it may apply to this and you might appreciate it a little bit more. I want to make sure everybody has the context they should have. Channy, no? Oh, Channy. Chan. Okay. Well, Tasia just put it the best way it could. I was going to tell a whole thing with like puppets. I was going to act it out in song. And Tasia just said, if you lie too much, you will never be believed. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So she saved you from the disaster that I was about. It was going to be epic too. Like I was going to pull out the me. Yeah. So yeah, if you lie too much, nobody's going to believe you, even when you're telling the truth. Thank you, Tasia. Moving right along.
And because of that, the wolf is going mad. 'Cause there's nobody willing to understand. Maybe I should be more like the sheep instead. Maybe they will listen if inside I'm dead. Maybe all this maybe's just because I'm scared. 'Cause the truth is ugly and I'm not prepared.
Did you catch those eyes?
To face myself and find that I'm the biggest lie of trying to hide. No.
Just a safety note for the kids at home. It's not a great idea to wear carcasses, animal or otherwise.
This is getting out of hand. Ang aking mga paa na may nanginginig. Naman lang nagkangkang kumilala sa aking tinig. Halos mapatulan lang ako ng litid. Kahit pilit ko pang isara ang mga matay, tumatagas pa rin aking damdamin. At sa may baybayin, umaapaw na ang aking galit sa mundo. Pagsamo ko'y pakinggan niya. Patawarin mo naman ang
Oh,
walang
damn.
ideang mundo. At sa kabila ng mga pangyayari, wala naman akong iba pang masisisi, kundi ang sarili, piniling isang tabi. Marahil nga itinakda na akong masuwi. Malayo lang sa mundo ang tupad sakripisyo. Sabi ko naman sa'yo, di lang ikaw ang talo. Di ba nga dalawa na tayo? Dalawa na tayo. Huwag mong suluin ang mundo, lagi lang akong nandito. Di ba nga dalawa na tayo? Dalawa na tayo.
Don't do it. Damn it, Pablo. I'm a little confused. Okay. I'm thinking about the lyrics. You know what? Let's do this. Hold on. Somebody's typing something. I can hear you. Stop. Don't post the answer. Somebody is furiously, like already sweating. Calm down.
Everybody telling the dwarf is
Okay, now here's what I think is causing my confusion. It feels like in the video that we watched, which I have to say, the song is beautiful. Pablo's vocals and a lot of the way that the song is put together, this little atmospheric with the reverb, is so pretty. And I didn't even catch that until later on in the song when I realized I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. And then I started listening to the song. But what I see in the video feels like there's commentary on like shunning people that, just shunning certain types of people or classes of people or people of different walks, whatever it is. Anybody you can put in that category, the way that we shun them, the way that we treat them, despite the fact that they are a human being just like us. So I feel that, okay? But where I get confused is the boy who cried wolf, which we were referring to in the initial start of this, was where the boy is watching all the sheep, and then for attention, he runs back to the village and he says, "Wolf, wolf, wolf!" And everybody goes, "Oh my God!" And they run up and they're ready to kill the wolf, and there's nothing there because the boy lied. And this happens multiple times until one day. See, I told you I was going to get the whole story out. Till one day, a wolf actually shows up around the sheep. The boy runs back to the village and goes, "Wolf, wolf, wolf!" And everybody's like, "Nope, you tricked us too many times. You're on your own, bro." And the wolf eats all the sheep. And it's the boy's fault. You can't blame the wolf. It's the boy's fault. It was the boy who cried wolf. Oh, God, that felt so good to get out. Oh, it was just brewing inside of me. So I was thinking it was going to be something to that effect, but I don't feel like that was here at all. This felt very different. So what I want to do now is we're going to listen to the song again. We're going to read the lyrics and see if we can kind of put the pieces together now that we're not getting the visual, we're just getting the lyrics. Now, can you see that? Okay, everybody telling that the wolf is bad. Okay.
ain't nobody telling what no wolf said. that the wolf is going mad.
Interesting.
Cause there's nobody willing to understand. Maybe I should be more like the sheep instead. Maybe they will listen if inside I'm dead. Maybe all this maybe's just because I'm scared. Cause the truth is ugly and I'm not prepared.
Interesting.
To face myself and find that I'm the biggest lie of trying to hide. No.
Ooh. It's like a howl.
No.
Whoa, that's so good. You see the way they put the moon there? Bro.
This is getting out of hand. Ang aking mga paa na ba'y nanginginig. Naman lang nagkang...
Oh, that's why they were waiting on the subs. Ah.
Ang aking mga paa na ba'y nanginginig. Naman lang nagkangkang kumilala sa aking tinig. Halos mapatulan lang ako ng litid. Kahit pilit ko pang isara mga matay, tumatagas pa rin aking damdamin. At sa may baybayin, umaapaw na ang aking galit sa mundo.
I want to come back to this line, my anger towards the world.
Sa mo ko'y pakinggan niya. Patawarin mo naman ako. Di ko naman inasahan to. Wala naman akong ibang gusto. Alam mo yan kahit walang ideya ang mundo. At sa kabila ng mga pangyayari, wala naman akong iba pang masasisi. Kundi ang sarili, piniling isang tabi. Marahil nga itinagda na akong masuwi. Malayo lang sa mundo. Ang tupad sakripisyo. Sabi ko naman sa'yo, di lang ikaw ang talo. Di ba nga dalawa na tayo? Dalawa na tayo. Huwag mong suluin ang mundo. Lagi lang akong nandito. Di ba nga dalawa na tayo? Dalawa na tayo.
That's fantastic. That is friggin' fantastic. Wow. So I do have to admit something. When I tell you that this has been requested hard, I think you can see why now. But here's the other side of the coin that I didn't tell you. The one that has been requested so hard was this version, was the lyric version. But I kept putting it on the back burner because, like, I'm a director. I watch music videos. Now, every once in a while, we get visualizers, we get lyric videos. They just kind of happen, right? Because videos don't always exist. So when we found out there was an actual music video, well, that made sense. Let's do that. I can absolutely understand now why this was the preferred version of the song. Oh, man. Wow, that was good. That was so good. And that little howl, oh my God, that's clever. Wow. Okay, so wow. I want to go back to this part here. Please forgive me.
Rin mo naman ako, di ko naman inasahan to. Wala naman akong ibang gusto. Alam mo yan kahit walang ideya ang mundo. At sa kabila ng mga pangyayari, wala naman akong iba pang masasisi, kundi ang sarili, piniling isang tabi. Marahil nga itinakda na ako'y masuwi. Malayo lang sa mundo, ang tupad sakripisyo. Sabi ko naman sa'yo, di lang ikaw ang talo. Di ba nga dalawa na tayo? Dalawa na tayo. Huwag mong suluin ang mundo, lagi lang akong nandito. Di ba nga dalawa na tayo? Dalawa na tayo.
Chills. Oh, that is so much better. Just even just to be able to kind of hear the song and focus on it, and the lyrics help so much more. Listen to my plea, my anger towards the world. My emotions still spill over. Wow. So I wanted to come back to this line here. Well, let me ask you this. Before I get into this, my anger towards the world, what are your thoughts on this now that we know it's different? Like, what are your thoughts? What are you seeing as far as the boy, the wolf, the world, and the emotions that are kind of tied into it? What are your thoughts? Because I got a feeling there's going to be some different interpretations. You think it's about assumptions, okay? Assumptions of who we might be, how we might be perceived, assumptions on somebody else, who we think they might be. Okay? It's either a lot of typing or a lot of monster trucks. Assumptions and expectations. Heavy expectations being placed on one person. The weight to bear. Yeah, and I'm trying not to like tie in some of the video stuff that we watch, which is wicked hard. But I do agree about the assumptions, and we did kind of get confirmation of that in the video. I feel like, what if he's being misunderstood and he wants to cry out for help and no one was there for him or bothers to care? It's really the boy who's crying, why am I the wolf being perceived for things in the past? Interesting. Yeah, and I do feel like everything you guys have said is part of that puzzle. You know, and again, I'm trying not to reference the music video, but we do see snippets of it where he's in the sheep's clothing, right? But you could see obviously he's the wolf, right? Or at least he's perceived as the wolf, or he thinks he's the wolf, and we can see right through his disguise. But it's how we treat each other, because we did see the kids kind of poke at him and make fun of him. With the assumptions and expectations, what I keep, like, how do I put this? there is a piece here that makes me wonder about assumptions from an external position, like people assuming they think they know who we are, which I know a lot of you can relate to that because people see you and they think you fit into like this category, this box, whatever. Or you might assume that people look at you and they put you in that box, but you don't know for sure, right? I know firsthand, being in this position, that people see me and they think I fit in certain boxes. And I know that by some of the things they say, some of the questions that they ask, the way that they treat me, the way that they talk to me. Like, that's just being a person in the world, right? Wow. Trying to become the sacrificial lamb to be accepted more, and the pain of it all. Maybe also when you are told you are bad so often you start to believe it. Yeah, these are really, really great points. But there's a line here. Maybe all these maybes just because I'm scared, because the truth is ugly and I'm not prepared. Could this be alluding to the idea of he really is a wolf? Or it's just that he's been told he's a wolf his whole life? To face myself and find that I'm the biggest lie I'm trying to hide. I mean, I do feel like there's a lot of interpretation wrapped up into this. And I think if that's the case, and it's not really a definitive narrative that they're trying to drive and get you to arrive at this one specific correct answer, I think that's the smartest way that they could do this. Because when you are in this mentality, this mindset, you don't have the answer. You're trying to find the answer. And it's almost like sometimes you can find enough evidence to support X, but if you're honest, you could also find enough evidence to support Y. Okay, am I a bad guy? Yes. And here's why I say that. Am I a good guy? Yes. And here's why I say that. But at some point, there is no definitive answer per se, so we have to kind of make an educated guess or decision and say, okay, here's what I believe and here's why, and I just got to trust that. I mean, I do think that's part of it. And even if that goes to our identity and to how we view ourselves, I think that's pretty significant. But the one thing I do want to go back to, and I think it might kind of be related to this, but it might also be a stretch, but I think it's worth talking about. My anger towards the world. How many of you are familiar with the comedian George Carlin? And I'm talking George Carlin all the way back to what? The 70s, 60s, and 70s? Very, very prominent comedian. And George Carlin is known for pushing the limits. Like, you find that line of what's acceptable and you hop over that damn thing. And what I appreciate about George is the same thing, is one of the same things I appreciate about a comedian like Ricky Gervais. They understand that comedy can serve a very important role in the societal understanding of life. Sometimes we have to push the limits of what's comfortable, but there's a reason we do that. Sometimes we have to like really step over the line. There's a reason we do that. Now, some of you will disagree with that, and that's fine, but also understand that that line and whatever topic we're talking about is subjective. What's acceptable to me as humor is probably completely different to you. Some people say they will absolutely not tolerate jokes about peanut allergies. That's a line that they've drawn, but that's subjective, right? Some people say humor is offensive, but it's only if it's the humor that they find offensive. Otherwise, everything else is fair game. The point being, comedy is very, very deep, and it has to be strategically done, in my opinion. But I mention all this because I recently heard George Carlin talking about humanity. And one thing he said that I think applies to this right here is so smart, and I think it's so true, and I think it's fascinating, is that he's like, I found myself at a point where I gave up on humanity. Now the interviewer kind of chuckles. He gave up on humanity. And George is like, no, I gave up like on humanity as a whole. I didn't give up on humans. I gave up on humanity. Here's what I mean by that. When you talk to another human, another person, it's usually wonderful. You can see the universe in that person's eyes. And there's something magical about that you can share your experiences between the two of you. But once that other side begins to grow a little bit and you start dealing with 5 people, 10 people, 100 people, it begins to change. It gets worse in a way. He's like, I don't know if necessarily have the answers for why that is, but it does. And sometimes it can be down to 2 people. If you and another person have a conversation, everything's going great. You put a third person into that, something is going to change in that dynamic, and then it's kind of unpredictable. Do 2 people kind of not gang up, but do 2 people click more? And then the third person feels left out. And now you have these emotions that are up in the air, this energy that has changed. It's really fascinating. So my anger towards the world, as soon as he said that, it did make me think about this where, a lot of us here are older and have what I think is a pretty broad spectrum of life experience. And sometimes we say things like we're jaded. Because of the experiences that we've had, it's easy for us to not trust people. It's easy for us to get grumpy real quick. It's easy for us to say like, no, I don't care. I'm not playing. Nope, I don't care. Because we've seen a lot of how these paths go, and based on our own experience, we're much quicker to just put up walls and be like, nope, don't have time for it. And I think part of that is because of this right here, my anger towards the world. I've been walking through the world for X number of years, and it's burned me a few times. When I end up in a crowd of 10, 20, 100 people, something's going wrong. It's not 100%, but it's pretty high. Something's going wrong. So I take that experience and I start to kind of form my worldview. I think this is interesting because I think there is a line, there is a delineation point between how we view and interact with humanity and how we interact with humans. And I also have to go one step further and say, if you treat both the same in a negative way, it might be worth rethinking that. I don't know. And I say that because I do agree with the idea that human to human, we do pretty well together. It's once it starts to grow, it becomes a little bit more unpredictable and it gets scary. And in the world that we live in now, a lot of factors are at play. I do love that this video, even forget the music video, I love that this song and these lyrics and this concept can spark conversations like this. I do love that, and I massively appreciate that. This is such a clever song. It's really, really well done, and Pablo's voice is the chief's kiss.